Are awesome.
We have people sometimes like, this is my prize collection, boom. And sometimes like, I don't want to sell it. The best thing that happened to me last year is my car's breaking down. My car's breaking down, and I had to sell my collection. Well, no, seriously. In the long run, seriously, it wasn't the best thing like that. But I sold like 90% of my collection and started back over. It took me a year to do it back over, but I learned that it may be hurtful for a little while when you don't have that game or something like that. But we got so many ways to play this now. Now I'm like collecting like, hey. I'm gonna put things in my collection that I'm never gonna play. But things that just pick in your collection, like I definitely will sell this or trade it. You know, I won't miss it because I have the confidence that you know what, I can get it again. A lot of collectors will never, like, I'll never sell. And I'm like, all right, so you want to sell your collection, but you live in with somebody else and you got all this money on the wall. I like, first of all, the best time to collect is when you're debt free. Guys, I'm telling you how much better you sleep when you don't have bills. You know, like we're about to be debt free besides our home, you know.
Yeah.
Like seriously, be debt free. It's so freaking amazing. Like that's why we can splurge now.
Yeah.
Like I just sold like a lot of my GameCube games. I sold like I sold like $7,000 worth of GameCube games. Yes, that's why.
It's priorities.
And it's priority. And what I did was, and I told her before I did, I said, okay, I want to buy me a candy cab.
I was like,
I spent it, and I did, because it was my games. No, it was Arsenal, but I put that to it. But also too, I gave my wife money to buy stuff here, and then I went and paid all of my bills. I did not want to see none of that money because if I keep that, that was bill money. Well, that's like, no, I want to be debt free. I want to pay my credit cards. I got one more credit card to pay off. And the only reason I didn't pay it off because I want my credit score to jump back up. So I could have paid it off, but I just sent that money like, okay, we'll pay it off in like in 3-4 months. And I took the card and I put the cards in the freezer. I put it in water and put it in the freezer, and so I can't get it. If I get desired, I want to go spend the credit card, I gotta melt it. I gotta melt it, and it's sitting there.
You got credit card popsicles over there?
Yeah, because you know I got credit card.
our freezer is filled with credit cards.
No, this is chicken. And chicken wings and pizza.
Chicken, especially chicken.
Oh my goodness, you know black folks like chicken.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
chicken, bro. Wings. Seriously,
No, yeah. I was gonna say to finish your point there, yeah.
but no, it just being. I ain't gonna do this, but being debt free is great, and owning video games is fun too. But it's okay to sell. It's okay, and it's okay to collect. Just have priorities. Have a budget, like my wife said. Have a budget.
Yeah.
And when you have a budget, you can do what the heck you want with it. You have $500 to spend on video games. That's you. Do that as long as you have it, but do not spend house money.
Yeah,
Tell them
no,
don't do it.
True.
Don't do it.
And that's where I wanted to go to right now, and you've talked about this. You learn, you know, no family is perfect, but
No.
when you're collecting, and this is another piece of advice, you know, look at that item and make sure you have 2 or 3 times that amount. If you have 2 or 3 times that amount, that means you can afford that item.
Yeah.
But if you're usually running tight, then no, because that will lead to you making rash decisions or sometimes using your credit card that you weren't supposed to, just because you have the FOMO of, I'm gonna miss out, I'm never gonna find this is my opportunity. And then the decisions you make now are the decisions that are going to affect you in your future. And I've seen this a lot from my close to your friends. You know, the last thing you want is a huge wall filled with things and then lose your marriage, you know, be unstable financially, be in debt, lose your house, your car.
Yeah.
I mean,
Stress and
it's
stuff.
absolutely not worth it. And also, like you mentioned, like when you collect
For you.
collect for yourself. You know, you don't need to be part of an elitist group of collectors. You don't need to do it so that girl that you're checking out, you know, likes you. She probably is not even into gaming in the first place.
Random people on the internet.
Oh, yeah.
Got something they don't have.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness,
Or
stay
like,
off of
I'm
Facebook.
better than you because I have.
People have to stay off Facebook.
I was going
Right.
to ask you, Cooltoy, because we're talking about, collection, but let's go back to like content on your channel. If you were to choose, I don't know if you do like series or playlists or how you work your content out, but if you were to work on only one sort of format, like what's that format that you're like, I'm so passionate about this that I can talk about this 24/7?
It would probably be something involving like restoration or fixing or rehabbing, whether it be an arcade machine, pinball machine, something, bringing something back from,
Yeah.
crummy, disheveled
Unworkable.
status, yeah, to, almost better, or if not as good as it was the day it was produced. Stuff like that, because I think it's helpful, I think it's educational, I think people will learn from it. And going back to the whole collecting and on
Yeah.
budget specifically, like, you start to recognize things just like a classic car. If you can find something that's old, beat up, and left in grandma's barn for years and buy it for pennies on the dollar, you know what you're doing, or you've got the fortitude to put in the elbow grease to shine things up. You can save a ton of money collecting that way, just by doing all the work yourself. Now it is daunting, but one of the good things about the internet these days, depending on where you go, is the amount of information out there. If you don't know how to do something, you will find somewhere that will show you specifically how to do it. It may not be presented the way you want it to, but the information's out there. It's just, you gotta put the time down, you gotta sit there and stare at the monitor, and disseminate the information out there, and say, okay, this is helpful.
Do you think, because this has been like one of the pet peeves, and I will ask you the same question. You know how some people complain about, oh, these YouTubers are ruining the market for collecting, because as soon as they mention the game, there goes my game, my Barbie game I wanted is going over $200 now, screw them. Do you think that actually is true in a way, or is it just something like stereotypes that we're like, okay, this is not necessarily true?
Oh, it's partially true, but only to an extent. It'd be no different than if, a celebrity, they're wearing something, it gets, it becomes the latest fashion trend. I mean, people see something in the public and they say, I like that, I'm interested in that. Where did I go to find that? That's just human nature. Now, the unfortunate side effect of that is if that thing becomes something that's taken off on the internet, gets hundreds of thousands of views, you've now brought on hundreds of thousands of potential consumers that are trying to buy potentially a limited produced product. So it is detrimental in that aspect, but it's not like if someone makes a video, all of a sudden the stock goes up on anything and everything. No one's magically, excited to pay $190 for an NES game that was worth $10 yesterday. That doesn't necessarily happen overnight. It happens gradually over time as lots and lots of people slowly start paying $5, $10 more than they originally were for that game over the course of a year or two.
Yeah. So now I ask you, like, if there's, because I know you're trying to pivot your content. We've been talking about this. You've been trying to, we call it the 80-20%, where you're doing it little by little for your audience to accept it. So, like, what's one type of content you're working on into delivering? And also, what I just asked him, like, do you think we have some sort of influence when it comes to
If I had that much power, God, I wish I had that much power. But no, it's like anything. The first question I asked about pivoting. My whole bread and butter, when people found me, I love to go game hunt. But I actually love to drive. I love to drive around. I love to stay in Goodwill. I love to go. She know where I'm gonna be at. Like I'm gonna be at a Goodwill or a game store.
You say you want to go with me?
No, she don't go. So I'll leave like at 9 o'clock and won't come back.
We'll come back at 8 at night. I'm like,
Yeah.
no.
And if it's wrestling on Monday night, I'll get back like 6. I'll get early.
There you go.
And I say, hey man, can you put some wings in the air fryer?
Yeah.
And I'll be like, and I'm good, I just I like to do that. So I'm like, why am I not filming? And people like to see that. But I also too love talking about like games that you need to look out for. I always want to put the audience first. I want to put y'all first. I know a lot of collectors. I talk to a lot of collectors. I'm a collector, so I've been like, I want every rare game. Now, like I don't care. I've seen it all, and I ain't gonna say I had it all, but I've seen all like the exclusive stuff. But now I'm like on a 3DS. Hey, now the 7th generation, guys. Let's go get the PS3, Xbox 360, Wii U, 3DS. And when you talk about 3DS earlier, my dumb self, I should have did 3DS years ago, but I'm like, oh, I'll wait on it. Because I was so focused on the Wii U and the other stuff. I'm like, when I got the 3DS, I found out that is I'm telling you, that's like my third favorite system. They got so many good games. And then if you cannot buy it, emulate it. I don't care. I mean, Nintendo ain't trying to help us. Y'all know that Nintendo ain't trying to help us. Like, can we please buy your game? No. I'm like, well, get you there. I'm like, emulate that thing.
Figure it out.
We trying to give Nintendo money. They know you can't have it no
No, I
more.
want my money already.
We trying to give you money. Nintendo fans are the most dedicated video game fans on earth.
Yep.
Exactly.
To pay. Nintendo fans are like Lord. We will buy. We will buy something. But they're like, you only got 6 months to buy the Mario 3 special edition. Like,
Yeah.
I remember when they did that mess last year. They told y'all we had 6 months to buy Mario 3D All Stars, and then when you wouldn't nothing on there, y'all like, anyway.
I love Nintendo.
I love Nintendo. So
We love y'all. Sponsor us.
They ain't gonna sponsor me when they see this. No, we're not gonna nothing. I emulate your stuff then.
But so you think that, you know, going to the second question, it's not necessarily true? Like, can we do
it ain't that, like, depends on, like, the audience you have. You know, like, you have if say you Mr. Beast, he said, oh, I'm gonna get this game again. They might. It just depends. People like, a lot of people don't even know a lot of this stuff exists. And when they find it exists, they're like, oh, that's a pretty cool item. I didn't know that. I had so many people talk to me about 3D stuff they did not know about, and they found it before it went up. Now, you will have people who will just watch your YouTube channel so they can raise, so they can sell something.
Yeah.
And that's okay, but
Get them started.
If somebody wants to buy your car or your house for 3 times more than you paid for it, it's a different story.
Yeah. So it's you know, I will say something about scalpers. It's the perspective, and the intent. If you say you're going to buy something and you know you're trying to make $6,000 off of something, but like you say, like with the shoes or like the PlayStation 5's a perfect example. You don't need 40 PlayStation 5s. No, you don't. I mean, I would say, listen, if you, I was gonna get 2 PS5s. I was gonna use one to trade, but I'm like, let me send one back. You know, that was a dumb decision because I could have traded that back in the day. But it's okay. You get 1 or 2, it's okay. But if you get like 10, something wrong with you. You gotta check your thing. And then you don't even play retro games or play video games. No, man, get out of here with that. I hope you like get hit by a bus.
Right. Exactly.
I know I'm like, we don't have to get hit by a bus, just lightly tap.
Exactly.
But anybody got questions? Yes, sir.
So, you mentioned pinball machines. What is like your holy grail pinball machine?
Oh.
Well, we're not talking no more.
No.
So yours is roller coaster tycoon from Stern?
Yeah, that one or one of the new Godzilla.
Ooh.
Godzilla's fantastic. That's my she's raised her hand in the background.
Scalpers are evil because I am a Godzilla fan. I can definitely say that.
Yeah. It would probably be Monster Bash if I had to say one. It's up. The original machine's in that like $10,000 price point right now, which is crazy for something that was made almost 30 years ago. There was another company that made a remake version of it, so it's still a little more attainable, but you're still looking at $8,000 for a remake of
Okay,
it.
and I have just one more question. What's the best video game pinball game?
So like virtual?
Yeah, virtual.
I want to hear this.
So the best virtual would probably be Zen Studios Attack from Mars, because it is like the closest version as far as the feel to an actual table. The rest of them are close, but that one, the rule set, the physics and everything, it's pretty spot on.
That's awesome.
Any other questions? Speak or speak silent.
Yeah, it's right in the back.
First of all, I'm so excited.
He just can't hide it.
Thank you guys for coming to St. Louis.
Oh, appreciate it.
I'm really glad to have you guys here. Steve, thank you for your service.
Oh, thank you, man.
Steve, no.
Sorry, just for right away. I didn't want to hear your government name, but. No, but I wanted to ask you, because you kind of took a left turn where a lot of other YouTube collectors took a right to whatnot.
Yeah, here we
on that because I think it takes a lot of courage to kind of go where people aren't going, right?
Oh, thank you.
But I
Yeah.
also wanted to hear your kind of rationale why you did that. Like I saw the video on it for the greater audience. Like, why did you choose not to go to what now, where like Retro Rick and all these other guys kind of went that way?
Had a talk with God about it. I just prayed about it. And really, I mean, making money is cool. But God told me just like, at that point, I don't need to go there. And I knew there would be some backlash. And we already suffer some backlash from it, but it's petty backlash. It's nothing like, oh, it's petty backlash.
Sure.
But I talked to my wife and said, I did not feel right for the people who watched me fighting over a game or fighting price just for them to say, hey, I bought something from you. I mean, I make a shirt or a hat and they be dissing the price, but I'm not like, hey, all right, guess what, guys? We finna auction this off real quick. You fight over it. That's not, I don't feel good about that. I even feel bad. Like, I really feel bad about it right now. People who do it, that's it's the intent behind it. Like, my intent from the channel really wasn't to make money, but I'm so happy that God has blessed me and my family to make money off of YouTube. Don't get me wrong, it's a business. It's definitely a business. And,
Amen.
And I do love making money from it. But like I said, look at me now. We're about to be debt free.
Yes.
We went through a little trying period, and of our cars breaking down. I sold my collection. God had to purge me from that because like I was making that a God. I was like, oh, I love my collection. I do so much, and I had it, and then so and so I sold. I was being selfish because I never been married before, and so I had to purge all of that stuff. And lucky YouTube has like did so much for me and my family and stuff because I used to make fun about it when we got together. I used to make fun about it. And it's so funny, it's a work. If you watch my channel, you'll see a transformation in me and my creativity, how I look at stuff, and I don't care about sales. I sell it, but I can get it back because I know that, like I said, I don't know how y'all are religious or whatever, but it just, for me, like I said, God told me, do this, do that. And it worked. It worked out.
To keep it short, because I feel like I owe an explanation.
Yeah, you know too.
I was on the platform as well. It takes a lot of work to build a community, and like I said, my channel is my business. I am a business, and when you're a business, you're building that trust with your community.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I won't accept sponsorships of products that I don't use or that I don't believe in because I know it's going to cost me a lot, and it's not going to affect them, it's going to affect me.
Yep.
So in the beginning, we had purchased this lot from a store, and it was a great platform to do that.
Mm-hmm.
We had to get rid of this lot, so we were going to sell there.
Yeah.
But when it came to building a brand of trust and a relationship with your community, there's a lot of practices that for me, from my community, it just doesn't align. And I don't want to put that into jeopardy, I don't want to be labeled or tagged into it. I have a lot of friends that are sellers there.
And they're great people.
They're great people. And if they want to do it, that's fine. I'm no one to criticize what another person does. I feel like we live in an era where everybody seems that or thinks they're perfect, so they want to judge everyone. And no, you shouldn't judge. Just because I disagree or have different points of views doesn't mean I'm going to judge this person. Like, we're not going to be friends anymore.
It can be like this. Like, you can disagree without being disagreed.
Exactly. So, in my case, I said, okay, and it wasn't because he did it, because he's
and I told her
his back, but we had.
I gave her the choice. I gave her a choice. Yeah. This is what I'm doing, babe. Yeah, because we married. And I'm like,
That's not how that works.
no, it didn't. I didn't know. I like, oops. Well, I learned now. Her collection is bigger than mine, but it's cool. I love to make mistakes, and I don't mind making mistakes in front of people. Because I mean,
I think it's just being open. When you're open with your community, like, and you're straightforward with them, and you're like, hey, my dream is I quit my job. I was an educator. I was working in the public school. That was not my dream. I wanted to be a full-time content creator. I want to host. I want to work, corporately with CapFun, and that's my dream. So I have to build my business. So I'm open about that. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to sell things. I'm going to do this, but I'm never going to do shady practices where it's going to break the trust that I've built with my community. Because my community is like my family. What I wouldn't do to my family, I'm not going to do it to my community. So I'm like super adamant about it.
Sorry that was so long, y'all.
Yeah, that's like my rant video. Yeah. All right, any other questions? It could be
Anybody.
anyone.
Mega Man next, Zero. What's up, Zero?
Hey, what's happening?
Oh, you have that question I'm dreading right now.
Yes.
Hold up.
Hello. Hello, Zero. We over there. That's all. That's
Leave
amazing.
it to the
I spent like last fall building it out of the work and get all the meetings, like I've been expanding on it, adding a bunch of things.
What?
Nice.
So we got like a real blender and everything.
There you
Oh,
go.
that is
What
so
you got?
cool.
Yeah.
So
Tell us about yourself.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Alright, so it's mainly just a Windows 10 PC inside because one of my grandfather had 42 viruses on it.
Thanks, Grandma.
Operating system.
Thank you, Grandma.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it's got like 16 gigs of RAM, I think, with 4 DDR3
That's not
RAM.
bad.
Goodness, Frank, look at you.
Off the flex ones that have proprietary boards and stuff, so you can't upgrade them.
Y'all
Yeah.
I've got like a GTX 970 in there. You can hear it humming and humming on some of them.
I bet.
But do you enjoy it?
Yeah.
Keep doing it. Keep doing
It
it.
was really cool, and he even helped me build it. We all, well, you did too.
She's like, don't forget about me.
That's awesome.
But
Yeah.
yeah, they kind of did the physical building, I was the electronic.
There you go.
Well, that's the good thing to do with family. See, video games bring family together. That is an amazing
Or
project.
break them apart.
Never stop. Yeah.
If you're playing something that's got couch co-op, like Overcooked.
Well, one thing was free to me. I got the Xbox 360 from Retro for free.
Oh, that's good. Hey, this is a good time to get 360 stuff. Start researching 360. Get them good games, man. Start, you know what? Start getting on 360. Start getting all the horror games and RPGs.
On a shop.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong about it. Crazy.
That's on that line already, retro.
Nice.
I just need the power breaker. All the good.
Amazon.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right, Zero.
All right.
Oh, no.
Okay. I just want to say welcome to St. Louis and welcome to Missouri GameCon. It's a great honor to meet y'all.
Thank you. I love it.
And the second thing, okay.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
What is, okay, sorry, okay.
You gonna call Mega Man? Gotta help you.
What is the, okay, okay, what is the worst game that y'all ever played? What is the worst video game y'all ever played?
Worst video game I ever played?
You're
Yes.
gonna get a lot of people pissed today.
Oh, man. You go first, I think, baby. Oh, Cooltoy, you go first.
No.
It's not,
Oh, worst video game I ever played?
yes, make sure.
I would say Super Mario Bros. 3.
Ow,
What?
Yeah, look everybody got back there, boy.
The wrong way.
It's
Come on.
No, because I don't understand it, but my son loves it. It's Minecraft. I can't get into it. It's too slow for me. I have zero patience. I know Minecraft is like is a big thing, but my son like, you better play Minecraft. I don't get it. I can't get into it. It just I can't get into it. It's just like, oh. He tried to show me like 3 or 4 times. Said, my patience is too thin for Minecraft. I cannot do Minecraft. It's like I officially, I was like, oh, I'm getting out of
You're old. Just admit it.
You still look good though.
Yeah, that's why I'm married.
Exactly.
So I said Minecraft, but I don't hate Minecraft. It's a good game I play. I can't understand it. I just.
Look like that. It is what it is. They sound like owl. All right, so we got a couple of votes back. All right, no, the jokes aside, it sucks, so I can care less anyways. I'm a Resident Evil fan, I'm a hardcore fan, so if you watch my channel, you already know. I'm doing currently a Resident Evil marathon, but even though I'm a fan, if there's a game that I just don't click with it, and I don't like it, I will say it, you know, I will be open about it. So they're not bad games, but I personally don't enjoy playing them. So one is Resident Evil 1. You know, a lot of people love Resident Evil 1. Again, It's not a bad game.
She
It
likes
actually
inverted
isn't a bad
controllers.
game. The only reason why I don't like it, I wouldn't play it, is because of the controls. You know, the
Controls
whole,
or the camera?
well, specifically the camera.
Right.
It's really the big deal. That it's the deal breaker for me. So I've gone back and played it, and it takes a little bit more time, but I am playing it. But as of right now, like for pleasure, I wouldn't go. Like I actually prefer Resident Evil 2 and 3 over 1, and it's precisely for that. It's because of the cameras. When it comes to Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 4 is another one that's on my list, but hear me out, this is why. You know, me talking with the developers and understanding where they're coming from, I felt like there was like a lot of clunkiness when it comes to the controls. Like there's certain scenes where input is everything, timing is everything, and it's just like not quite there. So recently when they announced the Resident Evil remake, which I am going to pick up, the developers actually said, they shared this, they said that this game that everybody's praising and loves is not truly the game that they wanted it to be. Yeah, exactly. They were so limited during that time. So they said that this Resident Evil remake is now going to give them the freedom to go back and actually create the real experience of what that game was supposed to be. So yeah, no, it's actually true. And they said like they wanted it to be more eerie, more like the, you know how they're known for like the spooky factor. So they really want to level it up. So again, I am playing it. I'm streaming it right now as we speak. You know, I rage a lot while playing that game. But my hopes is now to when the remake comes out, I will play it. But that's the importance of what I'm trying to go for with this, is that even if you're a fan of something and you're hardcore, it's good to like emotionally separate yourself from things so you can have a clear mind to critique certain things, if that makes sense.
It's okay to like something.
Yeah, just because you're a Mega Man fan, and that doesn't necessarily mean you like every single Mega Man game, you know.
Well, Legends is kind of.
Yeah, so that's how I feel about it. And then you?
Worst game I ever played, Superman Nintendo 64.
Exactly. I don't like either.
Atrocity. Being a
Right.
comic book nerd growing up, Death of Superman was a fantastic game on
Superman,
SNES.
oh, that was a good game.
But
We're gonna have
my
to
God, I remember
subscribe.
renting that. Thank God I only rented it. Renting that game and just experiencing the joy of flying through rings as
Oh, such a
Superman.
joy.
Yeah, it's the worst game ever.
Go down.
Go down. Go
Oh,
down.
oh.
Oh wait, Lex Luthor, you got another ring for me?
Just-
$59.99. You know how many yards I would have to mow as a kid to pay for that thing?
Do you remember the Superman game on the arcade?
Yeah.
That was a good game.
Exactly.
It was a really good
made
game.
20 years before that one.
It was like the best, one of the best Superman games. I cannot still find it. It was like, I remember that going to like Kmart, they had that, Player's Choice 10 and Battletoads.
Did you see the one they did recently that it's like through Unity that they're like recreating what the perfect Superman game was? We actually watched the video.
Which, I mean, I get it. Making a Superman game is difficult.
It is.
He's Superman. If it was a true to form Superman game, press A, he wins. That's it. I mean, he's Superman. What are you going to do?
I know, it's true. It's so true. It's hard.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'm a Batman girl. Ride or die.
Easier to make a Batman game than a Superman game.
Anybody have any questions?
Any other questions before we close?
I know what the actual worst game ever is.
Uh-oh.
Where's Waldo for the NES?
Oh, absolutely. That sucks.
That is hell.
I
That
get
is
so all the
I
time.
remember that game.
That for all eternity is hell.
Yeah. If you want to torture somebody, that's a perfect game.
I rented that and where in time is Carmen San Diego. And okay, I guess I'm a nerd. I like those games. I actually like those because we're in time Carmen San Diego when I rented. You know, it had that big encyclopedia. And I was like, oh, you get a book too. You know, it was knowledge. So I was like, read and play a game. You know, so that was like amazing. That made me think about that. We still got a little more time.
All right. Any other questions? Yes, sir. Whoa, wait. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
I appreciate Mr. Wrightway talking about how his collection changed. Like, you have to sell some things.
Yes.
I had to sell a lot of my original, from back in the day, Sega Saturn open art more.
Nice.
That's so cool.
It's still like accumulation.
And you feel the same way.
Yeah.
Getting more comfortable with it.
Yeah.
What did you think of changing your collection?
Like downsizing and self-curating our collection?
Changing your original vision for your collection.
Oh,
After
I
life goes
see.
on.
Okay. Well, let me start with him and then we'll go.
I mean, I think it's super important to be flexible. Like, I'll use the prime example. Last year I didn't own a single pinball machine. This year I own 4.
Oh my God, I envy you.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that, you know, all of a sudden I decided I like pinballs. Like, I've always enjoyed pinball, but I always thought it was this unattainable thing. And then I just started saving my money that I was spending on action figures or whatever. Stopped buying as many action figures, stopped buying as many
Do
video
you feel
games.
it's worth it?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
And it paid off, and just that ability to be flexible as opposed to like writing in concrete. This is the collector I'm going to be. I'm only going to buy this. I'm only going to ever buy this.
Wait, but you have the real ones or like the virtual?
Both.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's important to like limit yourself. Like for the virtual, the DIY, that's a great way to find out truly if you like pinball machines, or if you like arcade games, or if you like Sega Saturn games. Emulation is great for that instance. Because you can try it before you can buy it. You can truly find out if you enjoy the game, if that nostalgia glasses that you're wearing, that you think you love that game more than anything, and you played it, you haven't played it in 20 years, like, okay, maybe I don't love it as much as I thought I did. Maybe I don't want to spend $125 on that game.
No, you don't. You
Yeah.
spend others, like I say, he started buying art, he started buying more pinball.
Yeah.
And when you first started doing arcade one-up and everything, that was really like our generation, because like we remember that as going to like
That was exciting. Go to the arcade, drop off, spend several hours there hanging out. It was a communal aspect of it, which is
it was good. We can court up there, so I'm playing mix, And then now you have these attainable, affordable arcade machines. That at first they was crap.
Yeah.
They were crap.
They got better.
They got a lot better at first. But we went through that. Now it graduates you to this other stuff like, oh, now I'm trying to get a candy because I want that, or you a pinball machine.
You can grow it up into
You can grow it up into something. Then
So you are doing pinball now, right? Like
pinball.
you're focusing.
Yeah, I got 2 arcade machines in the garage I'm working on right now. Like I said, I got too many likes.
Yeah, for me, I'll wrap it up quick. I downsized and I realized that even though I enjoy collecting games, I don't want it to just be games. So now I'm thinking about, okay, if I want to create a theme collection, what are some pieces, like 5 items max, that I can add that will make this collection unique? So, for example, for my Resident Evil collection, I'm pretty much wrapping up anything that's games, and now I want to go for like more of collectibles, like statues, if I find a vial or something that's like unique, that stands out, that's what I'm going for. Because, I mean, it's okay if you just want to collect games, but I'm usually more impressed when I walk into someone's room and they really curated their collection to a way that there's like
a rhyme and reason to it.
Yes, and you see just small little details and small things that everything connects to a story, and I personally enjoy seeing those collections. And then for you,
for me, man, this learning and failing and just learning. It's okay. At first, when we collect, we had these collector shades on, collector glasses on. That like, oh, I have to collect like so and so, or if I don't have this, I'm not a real collector, which is so stupid. That's why I say stay on Facebook, stay on these private Facebook. It's so toxic. It's so toxic. But some of it is good information though. But your collection doesn't define you. And I've been really doing a video on that because as collectors we can get lost in like I have to say minutia, but we just like, oh, you got this, oh, you got that. And don't get me wrong, it's okay to be like that. It's okay to have those feelings. It's okay. But just don't let those, someone told me like something, it's okay to have stuff, but don't let stuff have you.
yeah.
Don't let stuff have you. Because in collective will is like, we'll let stuff like this have us and have us like, oh, this is what defines me. This does not define me. I mean, I'm not gonna mistreat it, but it doesn't define me. Your collection doesn't define you. It's not who you are. It's a part of you, a small part of you.
That's true.
Look how if you look at this video game thing, if you look at it, and people go when you talk about video games, people are like, well, you know, people just now really started to respect video games in the last, what, 10 years? Because back in the day, people didn't care about video games. They like, well, you play that for kids. Really?
Ew,
Really?
girls not allowed.
Oh, girls not allowed to play. Girls can't play. Oh, people get mad because she
Even a
played.
second controller that's not plugged in.
Oh, they got mad at her because she played Cuphead and played. Why he ain't playing no hard mode? Because I want to enjoy the game. That's why she played it like this. This is a silly stuff.
Yeah, it is.
I appreciate all of you coming through. This has been amazing. Thank you so much for everyone.
Woo! Yeah!
We finally meet in person.
Yeah, no,
So
they
exciting.
know all the time.
So I really do appreciate it and appreciate Chuck, my boy.
Sure!
Woo!
Good.
And guess what, guys? We got some goodies to give away.
Woo!
Let's give a big round of applause.
Yay! Yay!
All right.
Y'all enjoy everything?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
All right, grab those tickets out, guys. All right, why don't we let our panelists?
Ooh.
Somebody be mad at somebody.
Cooltoy,
Cooltoy.
All right, ticket number 461064.
Yay!
What's he winning?
What you got? What you got?
Who traded in?
console. Ooh.
Yes.
You know you can trade. You know you can trade that, right?
You want to trade?
No.
All right, here we go. Oh no. Oh, it has a number, sorry. I'm in panic mode. All right, 461075.
Uh-oh. Who got it?
He got it.
Who got it?
He got it.
Here you go.
Yay!
You like, what did I get? You got a switch.
It's gonna be my game show right there.
What you got, a switch? Was that a switch? Oh, switch. Oh, this little thing is like,
Boy, you gave it in style.
look at that.
All right, Mr. Wrightway.
Ooh. Ooh, all right. We got,
You're cheating.
we got 7 winners. I was like, is that the big one?
All right.
Ooh. All right, here we go. We got number Mr. Wrightway and his wife.
Yeah.
4610.
Damn it, here we go.
78. Oh. Hey, look at I can't want to walk. That
I
is
give you
amazing.
100 for that.
No, she got. Hey, we got one.
So that's fine.
We got one at home. Show me. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Guys, thank you so much for coming. Our next panel